As promised, here is the remainder of all the goodies that were in the box from 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗃 pens and 𝗬𝗏 brands. These are 5 bottles of Conklin inks. I will be swatching them with a paintbrush, and I will be showing you writing examples with the 5 pens above that were also part of the same package. So without further ado, let's get to swatching and let's get to writing, shall we? This is 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏, the Positive Vibes artist. Hello, welcome to my channel. This is 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏, the Positive Vibes artist. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back for more content from my channel. And if you like what you see here and you are new here, I ask that you hit that subscribe button and the little bell notification so you know each time I post a new video. Today we have part 2 of my unboxing review of the items I received from 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏 Official and 𝗬𝗏 brands. These are the 5 Conklin inks that they sent me, along with 5 fountain pens. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to swatch each of these inks with a paintbrush, and I've already got the pens inked, and then I'm going to do some writing samples and you can see what this ink looks like, okay? First off, what I'll tell you is the bottles are 60 milliliters or 2.02 ounces. They are a really good size bottle. You get a lot of ink in here. So it's going to be, you know, filling up a lot of converters. I don't even know how many converters it's going to fill up. I mean, I've put the vintage purple is my favorite because purple's my favorite color. I already went ahead and put it in my Misto Purple by Conklin, the 1898 Misto Purple. I also have this ink in 3 of my other fountain pens, and it barely made a dent in the amount that was in the bottle. So we'll see how long these last. So without further ado, I'm going to crack them open and I'll swatch them first, and then I'll do the writing samples. The paper I'm using for the swatches and writing samples is Thelma River paper, the old version. I'm not too crazy about the new version. What do you think about the new version? Drop me a comment and let me know. For those of you in the 𝗺𝗏𝗵𝗵𝗃𝗏 cousin, are you going to be switching planners? I'd like to know. I'm in the 𝗺𝗏𝗵𝗵𝗃𝗏 cousin, and well, I'm still kind of on the fence about it, but I think I will be looking for a new planner. It kind of breaks my heart because I really love the cousin, but what can you do, you know? All right, here we go with the dark rust. I just went ahead and wiped my brush off on a paper towel. It was wet. I didn't want to introduce any water into the ink. And I also want to be sure I get pure pigment on the brush for the swatch. But look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? This is a nice reddish earthy color. I'm going to add a couple of water drops, and we'll just see what it does. I always like to do that because inks react differently to water. I am a watercolor artist as well, a watercolorist, and I will sometimes use inks in my watercolor art because it can lead to some interesting effects in the paintings. Now again, this is Dark Rust by Conklin. Here is the color, and this is what the water drops are doing on the ink. I mean, that just looks really cool. I like it. And I'm going to give you a writing sample. I put the Dark Rust in the Conklin All-American Rainbow Limited Edition. Gorgeous, gorgeous pen. And this is reviewed in part 1 of this video, which I will link to below, and I'll see if YouTube allows me to put a card in the video. I may not have enough subscribers to do that, but the link to that review video will definitely be in the description below. So this is Conklin. Dark Rust. pen is in the Conklin All-American. Rainbow limited edition. Perfect timing for Pride Month. It's also my birthday month. My birthday's on the 19th, the day after my favorite singer, Paul McCartney. I was really upset my mom didn't have me on the 18th once I became a fan. My poor mom, though, she was in labor for 48 hours with me, and they didn't know that the problem was that she needed a C-section. Yeah, no fun for my poor mom. But here I am. It's actually a bit of a miracle that I am here in a number of ways, but that's another story. Ink number 2 is Dusty Rose. I am doing the inks in alphabetical order, not chromatic order, just because it was easier for me to remember what's in what pen and all that. So the Dusty Rose, I put that in the Nebula, the Monteverde Invincia Deluxe Nebula. I love this pen, and it, you know, they all write like a dream. So I'm gonna go ahead and rinse my brush, and I'm gonna put it on my paper towel again because I do not want to introduce water to the ink bottle. And we're gonna see what the Dusty Rose does. Isn't that gorgeous? I love this color. So pretty. Drop in a couple of water drops to see what that does. And while that's nicely reacting, I'm going to go ahead and provide the writing sample. Again, this is the Monteverde Invincia Deluxe in the Nebula finish. Oh, I just love this pen. It is so pretty. And it has such a nice weight for my hands. I have medium-sized hands. I love it. I have to remember when I write out the name of this pen that Deluxe has an E on the end of it. I was not raised to spell it like that, so I always have to really keep that in mind. And this again is Conklin Dusty Rose. And here it is. It's reacted really well with the water. Sorry about the focus. I do have a new phone, and the focus on this one is a little bit different. So I'll try to be cognizant of the fact and make sure that everything's in focus for you. But I think that's just a gorgeous color. And there it is compared to the dark rust. Very pretty. And we shall move on from the Dusty Rose to Kelly Green. This is the Conklin 1898 Misto Green. Mine is basically a Misto Blue, which is just fine with me because, again, I'm not crazy about green. Oh, wait, I was going to swatch it first. Hang on. Let me do that. So, yeah, I've only put this in 2 pens, so it is a really full bottle. Look at how dark you can get it. And then you just go down, and it decreases the amount of ink on the brush and it gets lighter. Look at how pretty it is. I mean, for a green, which I don't like, it's a really gorgeous green. I really like it. And now we're going to, I'm going to close this first because I'm nervous. It's really full. Okay, and I'm going to do the writing sample. As this bottle decides to just roll aimlessly across my table, I'll just stand it up. Again, this is the Conklin Misto Green, and it has the Omniflex nib. With the Omniflex, how do you say that? Omniflex. With the Omniflex nib, you have to be really careful because as you go on the downstroke, it'll give you thicker downstrokes and thinner upstrokes. You have to be careful and really get used to using it, because if you go down too heavy on the downstroke, what can happen is you can split the tines of the nib and ruin it, which I have done. Not with this one, with another pen. And I had to order a new nib for it, but I learned my lesson. Also, the slower you write, the nicer line variation you'll get in your writing. And this again. But you see as I press down harder, on the downstroke, it's giving me that nice line variation. I'm sorry I'm not talking too much for this, but with the Omniflex, I really have to concentrate. I don't want to end up splitting another one. But there you go. Oh, I didn't put water drops. Let me do that. It's still wet enough to where it'll do something. Probably not right away, but I'll show it to you in a few seconds here once it's had time, once the ink and water have had time to react. But there is the Kelly Green by Conklin, written with the Conklin Misto Green with the Omniflex nib. Again, it's a lovely green. The other pen I have this inked in is the Monteverde Trees of the World Sequoia pen, because that has a gorgeous green and barrel with some brown streaks in it. I don't have it out handy or I would show you, but this Kelly Green pretty much matches the green on the barrel of the Sequoia. So it's a really pretty combination. I'm going to set this aside, and I'll show it to you again when that water dries on the Misto Green, and we're going to continue on. And now we're looking at Rich Mahogany. This is a warm brown. So it's a really lovely warm earth tone. Again, filled to the brim. And I put that in my Monteverde Carbon Fiber Invincia Deluxe. And here it is. And this has a stub nib. Oh, let me do the swatch first. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Okay, here we go for the swatch. See how dark you can get it. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Let me get some water on there. I don't want to forget to do that. Okay, we'll see how that reacts. And now I will provide the writing sample, again with the Monteverde Invincia Deluxe in carbon fiber and rose gold with the stub nib. I'm really liking the stub nib. I haven't used it before, and it's really a different writing experience. My preferred nib is the medium. And I typically write on Tomoe River paper, so, you know, I like it that the ink kind of sits a little bit on the surface of the paper. The paper doesn't immediately absorb the ink, you know, because I use Archer and Olive for my journals, and that paper will kind of soak up the ink a little bit, but on the Tomoe River paper, the color sits on top for a few seconds, and so it's much more true to color on the Tomoe River paper than on journaling paper or any other kind of paper, really. This is Conklin Rich Mahogany. And it is in the 𝗕𝗫𝗏𝗏. Invincia Deluxe. Deluxe with an E on the end. I always have to remind myself. Carbon fiber. And there you go. And as you can see, it's reacting nicely with the water. So it would be a good ink to use in watercoloring. And there's the writing. And again, it's just really, really nice. A very pretty, rusty, dark brown. Now we're going to do the last but not least, and in my opinion, it's the last and the greatest, the Vintage Purple. And of course, I had to put it in the Misto Purple. I mean, that was a no-brainer, just like the Kelly Green went into the Misto Green. Again, another no-brainer. What do you do with your fountain pens? Do you match the inks to the barrels of your fountain pens, or do you just go hog wild and put whatever in them? Sometimes I go hog wild, but I mainly like to have the ink coordinate a bit with the barrel. I don't know. It's just that's just me. But there is the Conklin Misto Purple, which quickly and immediately became like one of my all-time favorite pens. I love this pen with the rose gold trim. Oh my gosh, it's just chef's kiss. All right, so let me get my brush, and we're gonna go ahead and swatch the Vintage Purple. Look at that. Ooh, nice and bright. I mean, wow. Let's get it a little darker. Look at that. Love, love, love. And we'll put some water on it. See how it reacts. And now I will provide the writing sample. Again, this is the Conklin 1898 Misto Purple. The nib is a medium in rose gold finish. I really like this nib. This nib has a bit of a bounce to it, so it's almost behaving like an Omniflex. So if I write slowly, I can very much get a very similar look to the Omniflex with this medium nib. I don't know what's up with it, but it's nice. It's really, really nice. And this is Vintage Purple. Do you have a preferred nib? How many of you have tried the Omniflex? And how many of you have split the tines like I did? And this is in the Conklin. 1898. 98. Misto Purple. And speaking of the mistos, we're going to go ahead and look at the green to see what the water looks like. And then the other two are dry as well. Well, the green's almost dry. But here is the dark rust with the water. And there's the dusty rose, again with some water drops. And you can see the dried water up here in the darker part of the Kelly green, and this one will dry by the time I finish this video, so I will show you that again in a moment. And now we have the rich mahogany up here. That's still in the process of drying, so I did put a lot of water on that one. And then here is the vintage purple. I just love it. It's got a really lovely hot pink undertone to it that is really visible when you add water to the ink. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this video and take a heat gun to these to get them nice and dry to show you what the swatches look like when the water's all dry. All right, well, this is how the rich mahogany and the vintage purple dried. And it's very lovely variation, and you can kind of see the tones that make up the inks. They're really pretty. And I will show you also the Kelly green, which is now also dry. And there it is. And again, this is the dusty rose. And this is dark rust. So there you are. These 5 bottles of gorgeous Conklin ink. I hope that you enjoyed my swatching and handwriting examples using these inks. And let me know in the comments which one is your favorite color. And as always, my socials are down below. I appreciate you following me over on Instagram. I'm there as the Positive Vibes Artist and also as the Journaling Life. Until next time, I wish you all a very blessed day. Thank you for watching.